What kind of psycho wears a turtleneck in summer? This kind. Hi. First of all, before I even get into this video, the next hour of this video is going to be just me talking about some emotional stuff. So if you're not into that, please skip to this time frame. I just want to thank you guys for 100 subscribers. A lot of people, 100 may be a small number, but to me it means so much, honestly. Like, I will take anything I get. I'm not relevant. So 100 people actually, 125 people actually subscribing to my channel is the greatest thing in the world. You do not understand how much your every like, comment, share, view, dislike, hate, comment, everything means so much to me that you even took the time out of your day to give me that 1 second or 17 minutes to watch my videos and say something about them. The messages, oh my god, your messages make my day. I've been getting a lot of messages on my Instagram, like DMs, and my Facebook page, which is not a fan page, by the way. I don't know why people think it's a fan page, but it's a page where I used to make my older, weirder videos. So now I just use that to post links because for some reason it has 1,000 plus likes on it. I don't know why and what I did to deserve these blessings, but thank you. So the messages make my day. There have been so many people that I know, acquaintances, that have messaged me and told me that I'm doing a good job and that they like my videos, which always means the most, and I thank them as much as I possibly could without being creepy about it. But I also got so many messages from strangers. When a stranger messages me and tells me that they like my videos, they even watch my videos, or say anything nice to me, they don't need to, like, we don't know each other, so there's no need for them to like message me and say nice things to me. But the fact that they actually take their time out to do that means so much to me. So thank you so much to anyone that messaged me or just, you know, saw my video. Like, thank you so much for giving me the time of your day. I appreciate you so much. Now let's get into the actual video. So I want to sit down and tell you a few stories about some paranormal experiences that I have encountered. And disclaimer, all the believers JB fans. Disclaimer, all the non-believers, the skeptics, these are real things that happen to me. There are a million ways to interpret them. Some of you might believe them, some of you might not. This is not like a scary stories video. This is not, I don't think you would find these stories scary unless you were a part of them. You know what I mean? Like, you had to actually be there for them to be scary. I'm also very spiritual and extremely religious. I come from a very spiritual family. I'm an avid meditator. I'm all about that calm, positive energy kind of life, you know. And I'm very how do I put this without sounding creepy? I'm very in cahoots. What is in cahoots? I'm very well acquainted with vibes, like room vibes. I can't read people vibes for shit, but like room vibes, an atmosphere vibe. If there's like negative energies or positive energies in that room, I can sense them. So here are some paranormal experiences for you from me. I hope you enjoy. So the first experience I want to talk about is when I was probably in the 11th grade, probably, yeah. You know Ria, my friend, watch her video with me. She used to live in a different place than she does now. And so I was going to her house for the first time. Immediately as I got into her building, I felt some negativity around me. I felt like negative vibes around me. I didn't think much of it. I was like, you know, places are bad vibes. You can't do anything about it. Let me just get into her house. At this time, I forgot to message her and ask her what her flat number is. So I was kind of searching for her house. I texted her immediately to ask her where she lives, but I didn't have phone signal at that time, and I was like, this is annoying. And it's a huge hallway, like her building has a ginormous hallway, and I did find a signal, and I was like, hey, like, what's your flat number? I'm not able to. And then she told me her flat number. I remembered seeing it on like one side, so I started to kind of retrace my steps and walking towards it. And I don't know if you're familiar with this concept, but there's this thing called getting stuck in a loop where you keep going through the same events, like the same time frame over and over again for what could be ours. So that's what kind of happened to me. I remember very, very clearly that her apartment was really close to the lifts that I was near. And when I walked straight to that place, I seemed to be stuck in like a loop where I would walk to the place, but I would like reach the elevators again, and then I would walk again, and I would reach the elevators again. I just could not find her house. I was actually going through the same exact area for about 15 minutes before I just stopped, and I just like collected my thoughts, and I kind of snapped out of it. Like, I don't want to say snapped, like I'm not over dramatizing this, but like I kind of just like, you know, collected my thoughts and walked straight again, the same path, and I found her house. And her apartment was fine, but just the whole outside of it was really creepy. And in that same building, we years later got stuck in a lift, like 10 people, 10 of us. After a party, we got stuck in a lift. It was kind of scary for me, considering I knew at this point what the building was about. So it was kind of, and when we were hanging around kind of outside of the lift, that was giving me really bad vibes. So when we got into the lift and we got stuck, I was kind of freaking out for different reasons. The next thing I want to talk about is kind of, well, this story you can rule out as what's that thing called? Sleep paralysis, because it was, the things that I went through were very similar to the sleep paralysis concept of things. So in the 12th grade, we got shifted mid-year from one class to another class, and a thing about me in high school is I slept through most of it because I had no interest in high school. I hated high school, but that's like a whole other video. Basically, I used to try to pick up any chance that I got to just go to sleep in class. I used to I have faked so many headaches in high school. People probably, like, teachers should have been worried. So note that I always did this, like no matter where we were, which classroom we were placed in, I always did this. But when we got shifted to this particular classroom, I would sit in the back, obviously. I was such a cool kid. I used to sit on the second last bench in the back, and I would like go to sleep there because that was convenient. So every time that I went to sleep there, this sleep paralysis thing used to happen to me, where I would lay my head down like that over the table, and I would be woken up all of a sudden, like from a dream. I would literally go off to sleep to the extent that I would start dreaming, but I would be woken up suddenly, and I would feel like someone's like forcing my head down, like not letting it up, and then like after a bit I would be released, you know what I mean? So it was kind of weird, like a weird feeling, but I genuinely thought it was because I slept too much. It was just weird, like to wake up after such a long time. It never happened to me at home. It never happened to me anywhere except that classroom, that bench, that side of the room. So this one day, I think I was having a very bad day, and it was like the morning. We used to go down like once a week to assemble together and like do stuff, you know. All of the announcements used to be told was that. This one time I was like, I don't want to go. So I faked an illness. I told my teacher, I was like, I'm not feeling good, so I'm just gonna be like not doing that. So she was like, okay, like you can just lay down in class. This assembly requires the whole section, including all of the teachers, just everyone, like even the assistants, everyone there on the ground. So at this time that this happened, the whole building, like that whole building was empty because everyone was downstairs. So I just put my head down and I go to sleep because I don't give a shit about anything, and I was just a very sad child in school, you know. And I was woken up by someone going, like, if I was laying my head down here, someone on the corner of my table just like looking up at me, go, Niharika. And it wasn't like Niharika, like they weren't calling me. It was like a girl's voice, a young girl, and she was like, Niharika, like, you know, I know you, like, hi. And it was like this close to me, and I was like, what? And I kind of wanted to go up, but obviously I was being forced down to not look up, and I was terrified. Oh my god, I have chills. And I was terrified, and that same girl goes, and I'm just like, nope. And I start praying, like I start praying desperately, profusely. I'm just like, but this 5 seconds into starting to pray to God, I was like released. Like I went up, like my head shot up because I was trying very hard to, like, you know, make my head. And the door, my classroom door that was already closed, made a noise that was like bam, like it slammed shut, but it was already shut. And I was just like, what? But needless to say, I did not sleep for the next month without someone in my room. I mean, it's not a fun experience to, you know, have someone that is in there call your name out. You know, it's just scary. The whole Niharika thing haunted me for so long. The next story I want to talk about goes way back. I was, I think, in the 7th or 8th grade, and my whole family planned this trip. Our whole family was gonna go stay in this like resort. This resort was like in this, it's not a village, but it's just, yeah, it's kind of a village. It's like more like farm life, you know, like a countryside life, you know. So immediately, like within a few hours of us being there, I felt sick. And at this time, I really didn't know anything about, like, I watched a lot of scary movies, but like I really didn't know anything about the true real life paranormal stuff. So I felt really sick. I had a fever and cold and just the worst headache in the world. It was like someone was like bashing my head with a hammer. So as my experience goes in this whole place was, I felt sick. I always felt like the place was more populated than it was, and that's not a good thing in my life anyway. It just always felt crowded. Like when I went to the washroom to take a shower, it just felt like someone was always there. Like a lot of people were just always there when there was no one there. And cherry on top, I was woken up at 3 a.m. The devils are with my period, the fountain of Satan. And I just want to tell you that at that time, there were dogs barking. Dogs barking is never good. There were dogs barking while I was getting my period, and I was like, this is pretty dramatic, but like true, this is my life. A few years after that, my aunt that is like more spiritually in touch with herself, and she's had like worse experiences. So she tells me at that time of night at 3 a.m, she was woken up unexpectedly and she felt weird. So she's laying like this and she looks up and she sees two like black hands go like that. And so she's like, wait, what? And as she's like thinking that, two eyes, like just two eyes and like a black head peeps at her. Peeps like from here, from the top, while she's laying. I don't know about you, but that's pretty freaky, and I cannot find an explanation for that. And she gets terrified and she starts like praying and clutching all the god pictures that she ever had, just like hugging them and going back to sleep. What kind of brave champ? Who goes to sleep after that? Who can ever sleep after that? Not me. I could never sleep. If that happened to me, I would never sleep ever again. So this next thing that happened wasn't scary in a bad way. It was just like, whoa, like, is this even, like, how is this possible? I think when I was in the 9th grade, by the end of 9th grade, my granddad passed away. So a few days after the whole process, like after we cremated him, way after that, this one day, my dad was out. I was at home with my uncle and my mom. They were both taking showers in 2 different washrooms, and I was in the bedroom. And all of our phones, like, except mine was in my hand, but like the phones that mattered were in the living room, like they were just there. So then my aunt, not the same aunt, another aunt, she calls me and she's like, hey, did you call me? Why weren't you speaking? And I'm like, I didn't call you. And she was like, yeah, you just called me just now from the other phone. And I was like, no, I didn't call you. I'm sitting in the bedroom. Everyone else in the house is like in the washrooms. My dad's out. She's like, go to the living room right now, pick up your phone and tell me that there is no like recent call to my phone right now. So I go there, I take the phone in my hand and I check the recent calls. I still remember 10:38 a.m. there was a call, and I was just like, no one called you. I was like, what did you hear? And she's like, there was no one speaking, but there were just like background noises. Like I could hear your voices specifically speaking to each other, but no one was talking to me. Like, you know, when you pocket dial someone. And I was just like, no one's talking in general. I have my earphones and everyone's in the washroom. Like, what are you talking about? There was no way that it would pocket dial. It's an iPhone. How you can't pocket dial an iPhone? And why we think that happened was she was supposed to visit that day, but she said that she would come the next day. And if this was paranormal in any way, my granddad's spirit wanted her to be there that day. I think calls from the dead is a very common, it's not very common, but like it's, if you're into like supernatural stuff like I am, it's a very common thing that happens to people. The next and the last story. So this house that I'm in now is pretty new. We moved here in the beginning of this year, but before that we lived in a different area in a different house for the past 4 years. So that was not the best. So like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm very spiritual, very religious. My family's just always been that way. We pray a lot, we meditate a lot. So we have like pictures of God in every single room and we would pray every day. I feel like because of the amount of positivity that we would give in the house every single day helped us not get impacted as badly as we could have. Like you hear the haunted house stories. We weren't that badly affected because we were protected, made sure that we were cleansing every single day. The three of us were affected in different ways. I was affected mentally, my mom was affected physically, and my dad was affected sort of like in his work. You know, we didn't realize it like 2 years in. I think I was in the 11th grade and it was just not comfortable. There were just a lot of pointless fights, like just a lot of negativity in the house. And I don't want to go much into detail about like how we got the breakdown of whole thing, but so we found out like eventually that the house was a little negative. I was just mentally like, I just was really sad. I was probably really sad because I was in high school, so I don't want to blame that on the house, but like I just genuinely became like a negative person. I hated myself. Like I was just never truly happy inside, you know. I started to feel a little weird, but I never thought anything of it. Like now when I think back, I'm like, oh, but like when I was going through it, I didn't think much of it, and I don't think I told my mom or dad about this. But on weekends I would stay up the whole night and then I would sleep in the morning. I would never sit on my bed. Like I would go sit by my balcony door and I would, I don't know, be listening to music or something. But I always had a feeling that there was someone in the balcony. It just always seemed like there were more people there than just me. Even while like in the shower, I always thought that like I wasn't alone. I was never alone in the shower. And I also had a lot of dreams. If I slept in any room except my own, I would have a nightmare. We had a sofa cum bed in my living room. Like I was sleeping on the living room bed. I had a dream that I was just sleeping, chilling, and someone grabbed me by the leg and like pulled me off. And like just FYI, ever since, and I'm not jinxing it, I jinx a lot of things, but I'm not jinxing this, but like ever since I've come to the new house, I have not had any nightmares, so take what you will from that. But yeah, I had a lot of nightmares. There wasn't any reason for me to have. But this last one, this happened in my room. I was just sleeping, just being a gal. So in this dream, we were in my living room and there was a man that went into the balcony and I followed him in. And I don't know who this man was, but in my dream, it was like understood that it was family. When I turned around, in my living room, I see a dog, like a big dog, bark at me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of scared. And then the man was like, it's fine, like don't be afraid, it's just a dog, it's just a dog. I kind of walked out of the balcony, like just staring at the dog, and I sat on my sofa. So this dog just starts like barking at, just like relentlessly just like barking at me. And as it kept barking, I love dogs by the way, side note, as it kept barking at me, it started to get uglier, bigger and scarier, like, you know, and it started to turn like red, black. It reaches like the high point where it's just like barking at me like really aggressively, and it stops and it looks like, if I'm sitting here, it looks to my side like here, and it's like,
you think I'm scared of you? You can't do anything to me. You know you can't touch me.
And I woke up. And again, I don't want to get into the specifics of how, but I found out that whatever I saw was whatever the spirit was in my house. And I was like, if that is what is in the house, we are getting out right now. I was working, so I was just coming back from work and my friends were at my place. They wanted to meet me. I think they were in the area. It's like they were chilling with my mom. They were Alia and Ria. They were sitting in my room and Alia was showing my mom a recipe on her phone. And so she was Google searching something and her phone sort of glitched, just sort of like did a thing, and the Google search automatically changed onto a new page and it started typing on its own. The Google search typed on its own, watch yourself. And I had told her what was going on like briefly, and she was like, and then she like later told me, and I was like, I'm trying to leave, man. Like I am trying to leave this house. Within I think 3 months, we were out of that place and we came here. So yeah, it wasn't your typical haunted house story. It wasn't as scary as you would hope, but it was quite intense, and when you're going through it, it's kind of different from when you're telling it in hindsight. So that's all of my paranormal experiences. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like if you were entertained, at least I would be happy. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment on it, share it, tell your friends about these experiences I had. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would love it if you join me on this little journey. So hit that subscribe button if you like what I'm about, because I make videos about stuff I don't even know what I'm about. But yeah, subscribe to my channel for more. I will see you next time. Bye.